Hello and welcome back to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, your source for all things Everton. My name is Thomas, back on the channel with a very disappointing video today. Joined again by Alex. We're going to react to the disappointing news that kind of emerged that Doucoure has picked up a foot injury. Obviously, he had a foot injury last season, if I'm not remembering incorrectly, that did keep him out for a bit. He's picked up another one. We don't know exactly the time frame. I've seen maybe 6 or 7 weeks banded about. That is the festive run, and that's really going to hurt us. I think he's probably been our best player this season. He certainly had the most impact. What a turnaround he's had. But Alex, when you first saw the rumours kind of surfacing on Twitter, were you fearing the worst? Like I definitely was.
Yeah, your heart sinks as soon as you see that, and you're never too sure what to believe until it's officially confirmed, of course. But I mean, your mind immediately starts panicking, and you have to just think like they may be behind Pickford because of just how poor Begovic was when he came in, and maybe Digne because of the lack of depth there. It's like that is like the one player you don't want to lose. After the start of the season he's had, like you mentioned, and that energy that he brings and like the work rate and like box to box midfielder, that is so hard to replace. And I mean, we'll get onto it, but I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do to make up the position that he has vacated with this injury. So
yeah, absolutely. He's had such a fantastic start of the season in a considerably more attacking role than we've seen him since he joined last season under Ancelotti. He's been getting forwards more. He's picked up a couple of goals, a couple of assists. He's been absolutely crucial, forming that fantastic central midfield partnership with Alan, which I definitely think has been one of the best in the league so far this season, alongside, well, maybe Declan Rice and Souček, who we came up against at the weekend, obviously, and maybe in their most, they were done. Well, they couldn't really get a grip on in that match. The only time this season we've really seen them struggle in that pairing, but it's a massive loss, not only because he's been such a fantastic player for us this season, but also because there is kind of no natural replacement. We saw last season when Alan got injured, Tom Davies came in, filled in that role quite well, and kind of sitting just in front of the front forwards, obviously was what that role was then. Now, Doucoure, he operates in that box-to-box role. He's got an engine like no one else. Probably, I think he has maybe the highest distance covered in the league this season, but do not quote me on that. He's just been absolutely fantastic. So we'll start by talking about the potential central midfield replacements. Obviously, someone's got to go into that role. And at the moment, Fabian Delph's injured. I wouldn't want to see him in anyway, but the other two seem to be Gbamin or Davis. So hypothetically, we could start talking about how if we don't change system, we stick with this model that we've been going with so far, and it's purely a two in midfield partnership alongside Alan. Are you looking for Gbamin? Are you looking for Davies? What maybe those two can offer?
I think if we're not going to change system, I'd probably just about back Davis over Gbamin. I mean, it's purely based on experience, and of course, we've still barely seen Gbamin play, even though he's been here for 2+ years now. And you have no idea what sort of state he's in yet, fitness wise, and that, because you don't know how long he's had to recover. But from appearances, in the League Cup this season, haven't been blown away. And I don't know. I think Davis gets a lot of stick, but I think he comes in and does a job. But I just don't know if he's really got the attacking minds that the Doucoure has, and I think it would still be a large element missing with him in there. But I just about have him over Gbamin, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of the problem is as well that Gbamin and Davis, obviously Gbamin's still a fairly unknown quantity, but Tom Davies he's a decent midfielder on his day, but he's certainly not the box-to-box role that Doucoure is filling. Like you said, he's not as attacking-minded. I don't think he's got the same engine to get up and down, maybe not the same discipline as well. I think it's going to be very difficult to replace purely because of the very unique role that Doucoure offers in the squad. We don't have a natural successor to that at all. But if we're going to stay with the same system, I'd probably go for Tom Davies purely because Gbamin's still that unknown quantity. He was brought in to replace Gay, but at the time we know it was reported that he's not the same player as Gay. He's much more kind of an anchor man sitting in front of the defence who's not going to go bounding out. Maybe there's potential that Alan starts to fulfil that box-to-box role a bit more than he has been doing, to allow Gbamin to come in, maybe sit a bit deeper if we do stick with the same system. But as we mentioned, there is a chance that we change systems. So if that is the case, what would you look for us to move to basically to accommodate this?
So yeah, I think you'd have to lean towards packing the midfield out a bit more, and probably having 3 central players, and I think so maybe Allen and Davis sitting, and like you mentioned about Davis filling in and holding ball quite well, and maybe having Allen as to have the one that has a bit more freedom, and then some sort of attacking player, probably have a, I don't know, Gray or Wobie in the central attacking midfield role, more forward, and in a way, like there's not one player to replace Doucoure. You might have to just have two, and one filling in for the defensive duties he brings, and one filling in for the attacking duties. And I think that would probably be the best bet.
Yeah, potentially. Obviously, we haven't really operated with that central attack midfield role this season that too much. We've seen Gray kind of almost become a second striker at times. But on the counter attack, we really are going to miss Doucoure, which makes me think it'd be more likely we'd go to maybe like a 4-2-3-1 purely to have that central attacking midfielder absolutely in that role, to allow Allen and alongside Davies or Gbamin or whoever it is to stay back, provide more cover for the defence, as opposed to, if we don't have that central attack midfield role, what I'm trying to say is we don't have that attacking output, and also it means we need the likes of Allen to get forwards when he's done so fantastically a bit deeper last season, this season, and I'm sure that the season's going forward. So it's a very tricky situation. I've seen a few people say that we should resort to playing 3 centre halves again and the wing backs. It's never really worked for us before, but I don't know what your thoughts are on that one.
Yeah, I don't think we have the players to do that. I think that type of system, it's working very well in other side. I know Chelsea have employed it very well and stuff, but I don't think it's our thing. I don't think Coleman's got the ability to be playing in a more forward role like that. And I'm not sure about a system like that. I don't think it really suits us. I'm not sure it really suits Benitez either. So
we've seen managers have tried to play 3 centre halves at times with us, especially Ancelotti that last season. It just doesn't work. It doesn't seem like we have the personnel to do it. As you mentioned, Coleman isn't that kind of marauding wing back that maybe he once was. He's not going to fit well into that role, especially as well if we're forced to play Godfrey out on the right again. He's definitely not going to fulfil that role. We don't really have enough centre halves to cover 3 spaces as well. If we picked up maybe 2 injuries, all of a sudden we don't have the amount of players to play there. When you look at Chelsea, as you mentioned, Christensen, Chalobah, Azpilicueta, loads of players that can really fill in those roles that at the end of the day we don't have. And for me personally, I'd probably switch to more of a structured 4-2-3-1. Obviously, the fluidity up front is definitely going to help, but Gray cannot be as far forwards because Doucoure isn't going to kind of fill that void in between the defence and the mid and the attack to link up the fantastic counter-attacking football that we have seen at times this season. But it's definitely going to be a struggle. We've still got a few key injuries, as we mentioned, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Coleman was obviously out for the match just against West Ham, and we keep picking up this key injuries. Benitez has got very unlucky. He has no money to replace them with. He has no, his squad it's already, very, very thin, and he's having to deal with an injury crisis at the same time. And we don't have a lot of quality on the bench. We don't have a lot of quality on the pitch at the moment, and it's very frustrating to see. And if I was Benitez, I'd be absolutely livid that I ended up taking this job. But I don't think there's too much to be said about that, because we can sit and talk about how unlucky he has been with injuries, but that's not really going to help anyone. We know we've been unlucky. We brought in another member of the fitness staff. Maybe that'll hopefully start making an impact soon. But to be honest, I've got nothing else to add to that. Do you have anything else you'd like to say before the end of the video?
I think it opens up a lot of things. We've got a very tough run of fixtures coming up soon, and I think a bit of perspective is probably going to be needed on that. We don't know how long Doucoure is going to be out for. We still don't know, like you say, about Richarlison or Calvert-Lewin yet, and I think that's got to be bare. Like we've got to bear that in mind. Like that, it's been a very good start to the season. Probably, quite miraculous when you were looking at it. Based on the lack of money we spent this season. It's not going to continue like that. It's very unlikely. I think if somehow manages to keep on getting the results he's got so far, he's some sort of miracle worker. So just a bit of perspective needed next year games, I think, and expectations should be kept in key. So nice cheery note to end on.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Perspective's going to be needed. I think we should be very glad we've had this good run of form at the start of the season, because I think as we go into the festive period, we're definitely going to rely on those 14 points that we've already picked up and see maybe after Christmas, hopefully we get Doucoure back. Hopefully we get Calvert-Lewin back. Hopefully Richarlison's back earlier than that. It does sound like he is further along in his development back from his injury. But thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to let us know in the comments down below. Who would you replace Doucoure with? Would you change system? Would you stick with the same system? You're looking to the likes of Tom Davies and Gbamin to hopefully fill in that void. No one's going to do it as well as Doucoure. We know that. We're going to have to adjust our expectations significantly, probably adjust the style of play as well. We're just going to have to wait and see, what Benitez decides to do. Look, he's done very well tactically this season, so hopefully he can kind of whip out another miracle yet again. So thank you all very much for watching, and join us next time on the Toffee Blues.